Have you begun your spiritual awakening journey? Have you heard about spiritual awakening and you're so confused about what it means? What should you not do? This video is going to answer all of your questions. So stay tuned, watch up until the end, and if you've not yet subscribed, please leave a subscription so that the next time I post these kinds of content, you become the first person to receive them. So let's begin onto it. So of recent times, more people are becoming now aware that there is something known as spiritual awakening, and more people are concerned. What does it really mean? Have I had an awakening? What should I do? What should I do if I'm having an awakening? Should I do this? Should I not do this? And I'm here to answer all those questions. So first and foremost, the best definition for what we call spiritual awakening is simply coming to that realization of you are an experience of your own reality. You are an experiencer, not the experience, but an experiencer. And to put it more simply, it simply means that we are spiritual beings simply having a human experience. So when you realize that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, you have now awakened your spiritual self. So this simply means that beyond the physical, beyond what you can see with the physical eye, beyond what you can touch, taste, and smell, there exists something far beyond that. There is the you and there is the mind. There is the I and there is the me aspect of who you are. So most people never realize this, but thinking is an activity that happens in of itself. Thinking is independent if you are not yet aware. So most people, thinking happens to them, but they think that they are thinking. So what do I mean by this? Now, the spiritual self is the observer, the ever-present I. It is always there observing every moment. Come to think of it, every moment that passes by, there is a witnessing, there is an experiencer, there is someone who is always witnessing, there is that presence that is always there and observing that moment. But the thing is, we lose ourselves into our minds. So most of us, we are not experiencing life. We are not actually living lives. We are stuck in our own minds. Stuck in our own minds means that you are either projecting into the future or going back into the past. And that is the biggest plague that most of us are facing at this current time and age. And that plague leads us to live a life of which we are not aware. Life of unawareness of who we are, and what we came here to do. So most of us are either going back to the past, digging up the past problems, the past traumas, or we are either projecting so much further into the future that we lose touch into the present moment. So if you're not in the present moment, you are detached from your spiritual self. So when you come to the spiritual awakening journey, you realize that there is that ever-present witnesser. There is that observing that is always happening. And that in that observing, thinking stops. And when thinking stops, you become one with peace. You become one with the universe. You are there in that moment. Because the past never happened in the past. The future will never happen in the future. The past and the future unfolded in the present moment. So in the present moment is the place, the position whereby you have the power to influence reality, because everything happens in the now. And if you want to change your future, you don't think so much about it. You don't fantasize about it. You focus in the present moment and you take the necessary actions and steps that will ensure that the future that you desire starts to unfold. So in spiritual awakening, you realize that there is that observing presence. So your main job is to be in that presence, because when you're in that presence, you detach from the mind. When you detach from the mind, pain and suffering comes to an end instantly, completely. So that is what we call spiritual awakening. And now another thing to understand, that spiritual awakening is the first process, is the first step. The main goal is to become enlightened. To become enlightened means that you raise your states of consciousness. It means that you ascend unto heaven. So in the scriptures, when the Messiah talked about the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, he did not really mean that people will be going to heaven physically. He did not mean that the kingdom of God is there up somewhere in the skies, because scientists, people with the rockets, they have gone up there. They've never seen a place that is heaven. They've seen stars. They've seen galaxies. This is what exists there. So when the Messiah talked about the kingdom of God or the kingdom of heaven, he did not allude to a specific place up in the skies whereby we have God there. He talked about esoteric teachings. That is why when you read the book of Matthew chapter 13, in Matthew 13, he talked about a parable of the sower. And in this parable, he was explaining about why, or the disciples came to ask him, why do you speak to these people in parables? And he explained and said, the reason why I speak to them in parables is these people don't have the privilege of knowing the secrets of the kingdom of God, but you have that privilege of understanding the secrets of the kingdom of God. That is why you find that in the world population, it is only 90%, or let's say less than 10% of people who are aware, who are awakened, who have awakened. And it was prophesied that in the future, many people will become awakened in the second coming of Christ. So the second coming of Christ is not a physical coming of a teacher. It is what we call Christ consciousness, which has now come to most people, and people are realizing that their main job or their main duty was not to follow Christ, was not to imitate Christ, was that we are Christ's. We have that ability that Christ had. We just have to learn a few things that he taught that were misinterpreted for us to access that kind of a level or knowledge of understanding. So spiritual awakening is not the destination, it's the first step. The step towards what? Enlightenment. Enlightenment is whereby you have raised your level of vibration or your state of consciousness to the highest state. And in that highest state, we have God. God is the highest frequency possible. God is the most high frequency. And that frequency is enlightenment. When you attain that, you become God-like. People will see you and you will emanate this kind of aura, this kind of magnificence. You will have a miraculous kind of touch because you are in a very high vibration. That is the goal. Enlightenment is actually the goal, okay? Because in enlightenment you experience peace, love, joy, understanding, and all these things, and life ceases to become a struggle for you. Life becomes an effortless journey, an effortless experience. You don't struggle to make ends meet. You don't struggle. You're not in conflict anymore. You are at peace, and when you're at peace, everything is harmonious in your life, and that is the goal. And the starting point is the awakening, is realizing that there is more to life, more than what meets the eye. So the problem that arises is that now people are beginning to make spirituality a kind or form of religion, whereby we have people who say that you have to wear crystals, you have to be a vegan, don't eat meat, don't do this, don't do that. But the real thing is, in spirituality, you just need to understand that we have planes of existence. We have the physical plane, we have the mental plane, and we have the spiritual plane. And all these three planes need to be in harmony, need to be harmonized. And when they are all working in unison, that is where now you raise your level of consciousness or level of vibration to the higher states that are desired states. Okay? So, the real thing to understand is that the kind of life that you experience is determined by the kind of mental conceptions that you have, or the kind of things which you believe in, because your belief creates the boundaries to whatever you can or cannot experience in this dimension or in this time and age. But the thing is, spirituality is a very life-changing journey that brings you to that understanding that you can never truly find happiness in the external things. True happiness is found within, and when you find that happiness within, you raise your level of vibration. When you are not dependent upon seeing things change for you to feel a certain way, you raise your level of vibration. So the people who are at the higher states of consciousness, peace, love, joy, enlightenment, these people don't seek or don't get any kind of happiness or pleasure from external things. They have relinquished the external. That is why these ascended masters, they never seem to be so much attached to material gains or material possessions. And because they were never attached to these things, they had the power to create these kinds of things. They had the power to attract these kinds of things. And that is the whole goal of spiritual awakening. So spiritual awakening is not something which is demonic. It's not something which is absurd. It's not something which will be discouraged. Actually, with spiritual awakening, we bring awareness, we bring consciousness to the world. And when you are aware of what happens in your mind, when you are aware of what happens in your body, then, only then, can you now see and become aware of the defects of other people. It's only then can you now go about and heal the rest of the world, because of what you've become aware of who you are. This is what the Messiah talked about esoterically when he said, you cannot remove the plank in my eye if there is a block in your own eye. So first, you need to become aware. aware of your own thoughts, aware of your own emotions, because emotions and thoughts are what create the kind of frequencies that you experience, and the frequencies you create determine the kind of limits or what you experience in your reality or in your world. So if you've not yet started your awakening journey, or you are in your awakening journey, this channel is going to be of much resource unto you. So make sure you are following, you are giving a subscription, you are sharing this video, and if this video has been of benefit to you, please don't forget to share this video, like, and also we have online coaching sessions. If you are interested to work with me one-on-one, there is a email account. You can DM me the word interested. I'll tell you how we get to book sessions and work together, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay awakened.